Fears of tapering and a mild economic recovery has the bond vigilantes out in force. The yield on the 10-year is nearing a 2-year high, so the question is whether or not the Fed is losing control of the bond market. Well, let's start talking some numbers with Dr. Ron Paul. He is a former US representative and a highly respected voice on the economy. So, Dr. Paul, thank you very much for joining us today.
You're welcome. Nice to be with you.
My first question to you, sir, is are you concerned about the sell-off in the Treasury market?
Yeah, I watch that very closely. And the one thing that I've learned over the years and also have learned from Austrian economics is you can predict trends pretty well, but timing is a little more difficult. But it seems to me personally that the bull market in bonds, which has been going on since about 1980, 30-some years, I think it's at an end, and people talk about whether or not the Fed's losing control because they are very, very powerful, especially when you have a reserve currency and especially when we have a wealthy country and a good economy. But I think things are changing. And also, governments, as well as central banks, eventually lose control. And I think that's what we're seeing right now. There's no gigantic increase in interest rates, but I think it's significant enough that maybe you're not going to see lower interest rates and that the bond rates and the mortgage rates are going to be higher, no matter what the Fed does. But if interest rates go up in spite of everything the Fed can do to try to keep them down, I think that spells big trouble, not only for our economy, but for the whole world economy.
And of course, this all comes at a big time of flux because everybody knows, sir, that the Fed Chief Ben Bernanke is going to be stepping down at the end of the year. So I just want to play a little word play with you here, a little word association on his potential replacements. I'm going to give you the name. You tell me the very first words that come to your mind. So first off the bat, we have Janet Yellen.
Keynesian economist would do the same thing that the other Fed chairmen have done in the past.
Larry Summers.
Identical, except his administrative function might be slightly different, but believes in the same philosophy of inflating, monetizing debt, and regulating.
Tim Geithner.
Oh, they're all the same. I mean, they're all Keynesians. They all believe in the central bank. So they vary techniques and all, but I wouldn't see the difference. I think we're missing the debate if we concentrate on the minor differences between and among these individuals, because the real issue should be, does anybody know what the interest rate should be? Does anybody know what the money supply should be? This pretense that an individual or a small secret group of individuals know what's best for the economy and take away the principle of saving money and market rates of interest, that's why we can't have any assurances that this recovery is worth much, because it's still based on false information. So
what do you think Ben Bernanke's legacy is going to be?
Well, who knows? It should be that he has created a lot of chaos for us, but Greenspan should be recognized for that too. All central banking should be recognized for that. If you look at 100 years of history, destroying 98% of the value of the dollar and all the ups and downs and the suffering of the middle class. But, history eventually will do that, but whether or not the people will wake up and say, well, it's this whole notion of economic planning through central banking is what is at flaw, which is the flaw in the system. They're not about to recognize this, and some people are going to make excuses. But who knows? Some financial crisis that hits even as Bernanke leaves, he may end up getting some blame for it. But I don't look to blame the individuals as much as I look to blame a whole philosophy of economic planning and monetary manipulation. There's no historic evidence to show that manipulating fiat money is a road to prosperity.
In many ways, it is a thankless job. But thank you very much, Dr. Ron Paul. And be sure to check out the Ron Paul channel at www.ronpaulchannel.com. And thank you very much for joining us, sir. And that does it for us today. You can follow us on Twitter at CNBC Numbers. You can like us on Facebook for Talking Numbers. I'm Mandy Drury.